All right, Travis the Darkest here. So we're going to be going over what to expect on your first class of Jiu-Jitsu. So you've gotten over the hurdle of finally signing up, finally dropping into a club. Now, there's a ton of different ways that clubs go about their first class, their first sessions, how you roll, how you drill, all these kind of things. Now, a standard look at what a first class kind of entails. I'll be going over kind of what I do and what I know of other clubs and what they do. So first things first, walking into your first class can be intimidating. It's one of those things where you see everyone in the same kind of uniform, and you're like, wow, it is an intimidating thing. Everyone knows one another. The good thing is, everybody starts in the same place. And everybody started where you're at as soon as you walk through that door. You are just experiencing it for the first time. So hopefully the club that you check out is very welcoming. Um, I have a lot of guys that go up, guys, girls, everyone go up and welcome the new people and say hi, introduce themselves. It's just something that needs to happen. You just need to grow your community that way. So that's what I put out, and then all my students kind of put out the same energy. So we're a very welcoming crew out here. I don't care about your affiliation. If you trained before, I don't care about your affiliation. Come and train with us. But on your first day, it is intimidating. But everyone's been there, and you will get over it. You will get comfortable coming in, seeing everyone either in the gi or in their like rash guards, and it becomes less intimidating. Especially here, you start to realize that most of jiu-jitsu people are just grown-up nerds, and they like Star Wars or Star Trek, Lego, comics, all these things, reading books, Lord of the Rings. We're all just a bunch of nerds. So now you've gotten past getting into a class. So we're going to look at what it looks like when the class starts. Most places start with like a basic warm-up, and they can go to a long warm-up too. Ours is like maybe 2 to 3 minutes, 5 minutes at max warm-up, just like doing basic movements like bridging, shrimping, moving your hips, getting your body moving, used to the mats. I don't like to run, so we don't do running laps for jiu-jitsu. We usually do movements that pertain to the techniques that we're going to learn that day. So say we're doing triangle chokes, we're going to do hip spikes and triangle legs for a warm-up. It's to get those same movements, and you can be like, you can reference it back from the lesson and go, remember in warm-up when we did hip spikes? We're doing that same movement. There's just a partner involved. So that's our way. Some other ways, they run laps. They do a whole bunch of movements, jumping jacks and stuff like that. I like to kind of keep it more, if you're here for jiu-jitsu, let's do jiu-jitsu stuff, bridging, shrimping kind of things. Then, depending on where you're at, our club, when I'm teaching, I'll go into almost a technique portion where I show a base technique, and I'm kind of leading from the warm-up into keeping your body still warming up with either like a guard pass, sweeping kind of drill or techniques. And we're just starting. I'm showing the basics, the absolute basics. We're getting warmed up still. Whether it's a sweep, guard pass. If we're going into like a throw or a takedown, we're going to be learning like break falls right off the bat, or like knee drives. Then coach shows it, I'll show it, whatever, and then you pair up. So you grab a partner. And for my club, one of the experienced guys will grab you right away. They'll be like, hey, you're new, let's get after it, let's go. I'm going to show you all this stuff, show you how cool this sport is. Other clubs, I'm not too sure. But you usually find a friendly person that will be like, yep, I'm going to take you under my wing. And that's how you get involved. So you'll partner up, you'll drill what the coach was showing. And you just, some clubs will give you a different resistance. So sometimes it's zero resistance, Sometimes they'll be like, okay, now go 20%, like give them 20% resistance. And you learn to go through this technique with a little bit of resistance without injuring one another, without like escalating to 100% and a full-on spar. Now, getting into sparring, that's kind of like you do your technique, you have like a 45-minute class, and then for Dark Horse, we start with a 45-minute rolling session afterwards. And anybody, if you're wanting to, your very first class, you can jump in. We actually kind of get the more advanced students to go, hey, you want to try it? You want to see what we can do? You want to see what sparring is like? And we draw them in that way because it's a great little experience to go, this is super uncomfortable, but I'm going to try it. Once you try it, you go, oh, it does kind of work, or oh, I am not breathing, and then you learn to breathe through these kind of things. So we have a really controlled sparring when it's with brand new people, and we kind of level the mat, so like newer people down on that end, more experienced down on that end, and then the more experienced people will be coming and flowing through here just to give the newer people some experience with higher level jiu-jitsu. So that being said, some clubs don't allow you to spar for like a long time. Definitely not my experience, not my club. You can roll whenever you want, whenever you feel comfortable. So that would be that first class. All right, now here's the truth. Jiu-jitsu has a steep learning curve. When you're very first starting out, you'll feel completely lost. And you know what? That's completely normal. That's a completely normal thing for a sport such as ours. You'll be lost, you'll get tired, you'll get exhausted from movement. You'll sometimes learn, or you'll forget to breathe. You'll be like doing, and you're just trying to survive, you'll forget to breathe. So these are some of the things. The learning curve of jiu-jitsu goes from you don't know anything, you know, like 3 basic movements, to you're doing Imanari rolls and you're starting from standing, you're like chaining things together. You're actively looking to make them make mistakes, or you're actively looking 2 to 3 moves ahead. The learning curve is crazy in jiu-jitsu, but sticking with it is so important. It makes you learn to do hard things and get beyond that barrier, working towards it. Another big thing when you're first starting out is expect to tap out a lot. Like, it's how we learn to stay safe, is tapping out. You feel like you can't breathe anymore, tap out. Get that breath back in you. Your arm is like going to be extended, tap out so you don't injure yourself. Learn to humble yourself with that. Tap out and tap early. Especially here at Dark Horse, we're pretty cool, we're pretty chill, like to play around. We do compete a lot and we do well in competitions, but we learn to tap and tap early so that we can compete more, or so that we can train more. You never want to be that guy that's like, has that ego and goes, I'm never going to tap. And then he injures himself and then he blames you. And it's like, well, just tap. Like, you should never want to injure anyone. And like, we let go early, or we try to let go. Sometimes it's unavoidable if you're not going to tap, but tap out, tap early. Make sure that you're keeping yourself safe, and your partner safe, and keep your partner from having to be like, oh, I don't know if I need to keep going. Because if you're with another brand new person, you don't know the extent that which you can bend and break an arm. So tap early, tap often. Respect the tap. As soon as someone taps, you let go immediately. We coming back to that breathing, focus on your breathing. Focus on not breathing with your chest, because you can have that squeezed out of you. Breathe with your diaphragm. Start to breathe with your belly and breathe through there. So much better for you to breathe through your diaphragm rather than your chest. A really easy way to look at that is you lay flat and the back should be kind of expanding towards the mats or expanding towards the floor when you're breathing with your diaphragm. One other thing is like focus on survival. Like our curriculum, or whatever you want to call it, from white, like when you very first start, to a blue belt is your survival belt. You should be able to survive an untrained attacker attacking you once you get a blue belt under dark horse. So focus on surviving, focus on breathing in horrible positions, becoming comfortable in uncomfortable positions, and then start exploring other things. And then with that, take those small victories. Like say you're in a bad position and you do a good escape, or you're able to breathe through something where previously you would like hyperventilate. Take those small victories. Those are amazing. They're overlooked all too often. So make sure that you're taking those small victories and going, damn, I did good today. Even if it's just showing up. So often people like come and they're like, man, I'm so glad that I got off the couch and came to class. That is a small victory in itself. So make sure that you're celebrating those small victories on your road to and throughout your jiu-jitsu journey. And be patient with yourself. Jiu-jitsu is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So be patient with yourself. Some days are going to feel better than others. Some days feel like absolute garbage. That's everything, okay? Work through those. Work beyond those. Get back onto the mats. Keep training. All right. Now, looking at your first class, what do you need? Some clubs have loaner gear. My club, I generally just tell you to show up in comfy clothes, comfy workout clothes that don't have zippers or buttons that will scrape up the mats or scrape up your training partner. So just comfy workout gear. Bring a water bottle. All too often people are just tired. They need a drink. Bring your own water bottle. Always a good safety call on that one. Other than that, when you want to jump into it, we got a couple things here. We have our nice gis, so gi top, all that fun stuff. This is a 350 GSM gi, regulation, dark horse orange. Most clubs, if you buy a gi, you get a belt. Most places, or like some manufacturers, you buy a gi, you get a belt. So that's for the gi portion of things. At Dark Horse, when you're doing gi or no gi, you need a rash guard, okay? Get a rash guard. Don't be that gross guy that doesn't have a rash guard. Here's this guy. Beautiful, very simple rash guard on this. You can get them anywhere. You can get rash guards from anywhere. I have a ton of selection. Most clubs have their own little club rash guard. So get a rash guard. If you're going to be doing no gi, get a set of spats, bam, and a set of fight shorts, right? Now, these are beautiful. I'm not sponsored by them. Hopefully you catches wind of this, but supernatural survival gear, Canadian boy out east, beautiful shorts. Don't be the person that just wears spats, okay? If you're a dude, don't just wear spats. Put the fight shorts on over top. Nobody wants to be wrestling with the guy that just wears spats. Girls is a little bit more okay, but I would double up, like get some underwear that goes under the spats, because sometimes spats rip. So make sure the gear is of good quality. Last but not least, get a mouth guard, okay? Cheap dental insurance, get a mouth guard. They're like 18 bucks for a mouth guard that's gonna last you a good time. And replace your damn mouth guard. Don't be wearing it for like years and years. Replace your mouth guard. I replace mine yearly because I think it's gross. So that might be excessive, but yeah. And then on the topic of gear, right after class, throw your gear in the wash. Get it nice and clean. Don't be stinky gear person. Make sure that it's always clean. Don't come in with a sweaty gi. Don't come in with a smelly rash guard. Wash your garbage. Like, wash it, okay? If it's not washed, it might as well just go in the garbage. Jiu-jitsu is rather easy to get into in terms of equipment. You can go down a rabbit hole, though. There's so many manufacturers that make so much cool stuff. So, yeah, some people have, like, crazy amounts of gis. This guy, but yeah, It's pretty easy to get into. All right, now looking at etiquette of different clubs and stuff like that. Some of like the etiquette that you'll see out and around there is some clubs only want you to wear their gear. Part of the deal. Okay? Some clubs only allow new students to wear a white gi. Some only allow you to wear a white, blue, or black gi. Part of their deal, part of their culture. Here at Dark Horse, you can wear whatever the hell gi you want, whatever brand you want. We're pretty chill here with that kind of thing. Some clubs, when you're coming in and out off the mats, you bow. Like you just bow to the place that you're in. I do it out of habit. I don't require anyone else to do it. Some people do it. Some people do a full formal bow. I do a quick little bow on and off the mats. I just like to think of it as a respect thing to the place I train. I don't care if anyone else does it. It's on them, up to them, whatever. Another thing is being late. Sometimes some clubs, they want you stand off to the side by the door, wherever the entrance is, and you have to wait until the teacher, instructor, professor, whatever they want to be called, acknowledges you, and then you can come on the mats. For myself, if you're late, all I ask, don't be an asshole and like be loud and obnoxious. Just come onto the mats nice and quiet, figure out where you're at in the class, what we're doing, partner with a group, nice and easy. I usually acknowledge people. If you're late and I know you and we have a good relationship, I'll be like, oh, nice of you to join us, kind of thing. Like, we'll just joke around. But honestly, if you're late and you're training, at least you're still training. So I'm cool with it. I touched on this last segment, but like, make sure your gear is acceptable to the club and clean. Don't have stinky gear. Don't have like, wash your belt. Don't have a stinky belt. If you're allowed to roll, don't be that jerk that rolls too hard. Roll nice and controlled, tap early, have fun, smile, do all that kind of stuff. Check your ego at the door. That's the biggest thing. Just come in, especially here, you can be chill and all that, just don't be a dick. Yeah, that's the closest to etiquette. There's a ton of different rules. Make sure that if you're traveling, or if you're brand new to one, check with the instructor, see what the club etiquette, what their vibe is, all that fun stuff. Easy peasy.